Kimberly Sherelle. She's multi-talented, but for today we're talking about her being an author, and she's just written a new poetry book. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now I want to hear all about your book, and tell us what it's called and what it's about.
My new book is Wet Whispers, and it's a poetry collection about listening to your inner voice and speaking up. I feel like too often in life, many people allow others to speak for them. We decide that maybe our voice is not the most popular, and so we sort of mute ourselves, and that's what the book is about. It's about coming off of mute and listening and trusting your own inner voice and just speaking up, you know, even if it's not going to be popular, even if, you know, you might lose a few friends, you really need to trust your own voice, trust your own opinion.
It's very important, definitely. And now there's significance in the title.
Yes.
Can you share that with everyone?
Well, the significance in the title is Wet Whispers, and the wet part represents our emotions. Because when you think about emotions, you automatically sort of go to tears of joy, tears of sadness, and so there's the wet part, that's the emotional, and the whispers is about not being heard. You're sort of whispering with your inner voice, and instead of whispering, I would like for everyone to just speak up.
There you go. Now, you are also the CEO of a publishing company. Talk a little about that.
My publishing company is Sherelle Inc. And so far I've published 2 books under my own publishing company. Right now I'm currently accepting manuscripts for other poetry books as well. I am in talks with a couple of teachers that are actually interested in writing books as far as improving students' grades, what parents can do, what teachers can do, how we can come together as a community. So I'm very passionate about Sherelle Inc. and I'm looking forward to the manuscripts I will start to receive.
There you go. And now you have the book here with you today. You have actually both books that you've written. Let's hold this one up. And this one is Wet Whispers. And tell us, you have been writing since you were in 2nd grade, you said.
Yes.
But you really fell in love with poetry when you were in 8th grade. How did you discover that you had this gift and a love for this?
Well, in the 8th grade, I had my 8th grade English teacher, Miss York. She actually introduced us to poetry, and I began listening to the words of Emily Dickinson, and I fell in love. Her words had so much freedom, and learning about the type of life that she had and how she really didn't get the notoriety she deserved until after her death. I just sort of fell in love with that because I was like, poetry is freedom, and that spoke to my heart, and I've been in love with poetry ever since then.
There you go. And now, where can you purchase this book?
Well, Wet Whispers, as well as my first book, they're both available on Amazon.com. And my website, SherelleInc.com.
Okay, SherelleInc.com. And we have a, there you go, it's right there on the screen, so if you guys are wondering where that is. And would you mind reading or reciting, if you know one in your head, one of the poems or half of a poem, or just give us a little teaser of something we can hear in your book?
Okay, well, I will do this poem that's titled after myself. It's Kimberly Sherelle and I, and it's about on a day when I was performing at a fashion show, and another poet sort of began to make fun of me.
Oh.
And so I spoke up about that through my, actually through my poetry. So it's Kimberly Sherelle and I, and I'll do a little bit of it.
Okay.
Coming to the mic is poet Kimberly Sherelle, and in the distant back, I hear someone snicker and say, "What, is that her government name?" Well, yes, part of it is, but all of it is me. You see, when I was born, the heavens smiled and God said, name her Kimberly. So why would I change my name now as I'm beginning to make it to the top? Changing my name would make me no more of a poet than owning a ball would make you a player. Kimberly Sherelle am I. And you can hear the rest of the poem if you actually go on my website. You can read, and as well as it is in my book.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. That was just amazing. And we're going to hear more with Kimberly in just a few moments, so stay with us. We'll be back with more good